How you doing, folks? This is Sean McVeigh with Sean's Outdoor Adventures. And I keep getting the question on how I mount these racks on the wall, my skull plates. So I am making this video to answer the question. Basically what I do is cut the rack off, and I typically boil the base plate in boiling water. And then after it's boiled for a while, I just scrape off the remaining. And that's pretty much it. Some people will peroxide the base a little bit. I think I've done that once or twice. But for as far as mounting this on the wall, what I will typically do is get a little block of wood, as sort of like a shim type of a thing, and I like to mount it so that the rack is like this. If you do a European mount where you have the whole head, your mount's going to sit on the wall more like the skull's going to be like this, and your rack's going to kind of be pointing out, kind of like that. I like the rack to look straight up and down. I think that's what makes it look the nicest. I don't do European mounts. It's a good bit of work, but it also takes up more space. And as I go on, I'm just going to need more space. And so, I don't know. The skull plate's always been fine for me. So I make a little shim. Now, one thing I started to do after a few years is a lot of times your little tiny wood block that you're using to get your rack to sit upright, and it's going to be different, you know, depending on how you cut each rack, is I just wrap duct tape around the wood block, because what ends up happening is that when you put the screw into the little wood block, it'll split because it's so small. So I typically drill 2 holes here, and I put 2 drywall screws into the wood block, and then I drill a 3rd hole, and I just take a little metal wire and I bend it to, you know, wrap it in the skull plate part, the base, you know, and then I put a hoop on the other end. So that way I can just put a little screw in the wall and then put that little hoop over the screw, and I can take the rack off the wall very easily. And you know, if I want to talk about it like I just did, I just, you know, take the rack off the wall. If I want to talk about this one, pop it off. This one here, you can see I used gray duct tape on that, but I have my little metal wire there. My skull plate's kind of cleaned up, and that's how I do it, folks. And I have been meaning to do a series where I just, each video is its own story of a buck. Like this buck right here, I do have video of this buck, but I was gonna just tell a little story, maybe pick out something that wasn't in the video, just something behind the scenes or whatever, and just do a whole series on that. I thought about doing it live so that we can chat and stuff. It just hasn't, the time has not fit into my schedule as of yet. But having the ability to take these racks right off the wall so easily and talk about them is going to be nice when I get to do that. Now, this is one of the older ones I did. I don't have duct tape around this. The wood didn't split on me, fortunately, but very often it would split. So as far as where I cut the skull plate, I'll typically come up in front of, you know, where the antlers meet the skull, just behind the eye socket, cut straight down, and then, you know, cut straight this way. And that's typically how I do it. So that's how you do it. I like to have my racks kind of up as much, you know, like this. I like that upright look. You know, like this 8-point here, I like having it up like that as opposed to tilting forward. I just think it looks nicer. That's how I do it. Hope that answers the questions that people have had on how I do my skull plates. Have a great day. God bless you.